Let's see how we can do this really simple and awesome transition using Premiere Pro. I have two clips right here. We're going to grab them right into the timeline. So first we're going to take a look at a really simple zoom transition and then see how we can elevate it with some additional settings. Begin by making a new adjustment layer and placing it right in between the transition. So it should be right above, and the center of the cut should be the center of the adjustment layer. Go to your effects panel and look for the transform effect. Add this on your adjustment layer, and we're just going to go to effect controls and make some simple scale keyframes. So we're going to begin right here with 100% scale. Go to the center, bring it up to like 400. Let's try 300. And then go back to 100. When we play it back, this is what we have. So to speed this up, just pull the numbers in. The most important thing is that the middle keyframe needs to be right on that cut. Then based on that, we can pull the two other keyframes closer and get a faster result. Now to make this smoother, we're going to enable motion blur. Scroll down here, turn this option off, then add to the shutter angle. The higher the better. I'm gonna go with 250. And now we're gonna get this effect. It's looking good. Below the adjustment layer, we want to add a simple cross dissolve transition. Let's get a dissolve transition and add it in between. So this is one effect that you can do. I'm going to bring the keyframes closer, and now we get this really simple zoom transition. Now let's take this a step further by adding new effects. I'm going to delete all that we made. Then begin with my first video. Right where you want the transition to happen, we're going to make a cut. Command K or Control K on Windows. And now this is going to be related to the transition. I'm going to label the second video as something else so that we stay organized. Now we're going to duplicate this cut. Option or Alt, click and drag right above. Select the top duplicate, opacity, and using the polygon tool, we're going to make a mask. Grab the ruler and put it on 960, which is half of 1920. That is the dimension of our sequence. So now we're going to grab that polygon mask and just make a shape on this half. So just pull these guys back. You can zoom out a little so that you can see the corners of the video. So now we have this half effect, and you also want to remove the mask feather. So when I hide my first original video, we have half of our subject. Now we're going to copy the mask, select it, Command C or Control C, go to the original cut and paste it here. Select opacity, then hit Command V or Control V to paste the effect. Now on this, we want to invert it so we get the other side. So we have one side here and the other right here. So now what we want to do is to hide away the mask properties on each of these layers. Grab the first one, right click, nest. Let's call this left side. Do the same thing with the bottom one. And and call it the right side. So now we're not getting the mask properties, and this will not interfere with any of the other effects that we are about to add on. Go to the Effects panel and look for the Transform effect. Add it onto the left side, Effect Controls, and we're going to kind of have the left side move from the center into the left, revealing the second video. So go to where you want this transition to happen. I'm going to wait until the subject's face is at the center of this line. Make a keyframe for position. Push it back. Around here, we're going to just pull it all the way outside of frame. So we have something like this. That's looking good. Enable motion blur. Disable this option at 360 so we can get motion blur. All right. And now what we're going to do is to just copy this transform effect. Command C, Control C. Paste it onto the right side nest. So now we just need to go in right side and alter the second keyframe. Because we want this to go to the opposite side, select the second keyframe and just pull it to the opposite end. So now we have this window effect for the video. I'm just going to change the keyframe. So right click on the second one, ease in, first one, ease out. Do the same thing with the other side. So now we're just going to move these guys up one floor and bring our third video. Cut the third video right around here and pull these guys down. And you should have something like this. Grab all three, right click, nest. I'm going to call this transition. Hit OK, and now on the transition, we can add the transform effect and have it kind of zoom in on what's happening. So let's see. I think I'll go back, bring the other video in right underneath your transition, cut this bunch of it, and from the top stuff, we can get rid of the first video since it's out of frame. And cut the exact same amount from video number 2. So you should have something like this, video 1. These are also parts of video 1. And then we have video 2. Grab all three, right click, nest one more time. Let's call this transition. And now on this transition, we're going to add the transform effect. And then right before this transition happens, we're going to make a keyframe for anchor point, position, and scale. Go forward until after the transition happens. And make another set of keyframes. In the middle of all of this, we're going to use scale to zoom in. Let's try 180. And of course, we're going to change the anchor point if you want. If you're not happy with where it is, I think I'll actually skip anchor point and instead use position to kind of have the subject's face in the middle. There we go. Play this back, and we have something like this. Again, the closer you bring the keyframes, the faster the effect will be. Pull these guys in. And we got ourselves a zoom in transition. If you don't want it to bounce, you can remove the second set, and then you'll just get the video. So we have all of this. I'm going to again enable motion blur, 360 degrees, and that will just make everything perfect. To hide away the black bar situation, I'm going to bring in another adjustment layer right above, and actually just on top of the whole sequence. All right. On this, we're going to add the cinematic crop, which we already know how to make. Add the crop effect, and just hide away the current black bar that we have with the new black bar. So now we won't see the bar here when we are zooming in on this video. You can also skip this step by just zooming in the video before you begin the transition. So instead of this video being at 100, you can start it with like here. So you can avoid putting the crop effect. Gonna get rid of the ruler, and now we're done with our transition. So this was a really simple transition, and it actually looks quite cool. You can try this with any other videos, but as we learned, transitions like this build tension and excitement. So you would want to use this transition for like really hype videos, such as like a music video that we have here, where the music is exciting and we want to match that energy with our transition. So I hope you guys enjoyed this simple transition. Let's move on to the next lesson.